It's true, most people are never going to get rich. And the sad fact is that a lot of people could actually get richer, or at least more wealthy or more financially better off than they are now if they just change some things in their life. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that every single person in this world could get rich. People have different circumstances, but it's not always just the privileged people that are getting rich. Ordinary people can get rich too. Now, if you look at the main cause of why people usually don't get rich, it mainly comes down to one thing, and that's mindset. They think they can't, so they don't even try.
It's that famous Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. And this really does emphasize just how much your attitude and your mindset is going to determine your success or failure.
Now, whether that's a combination of how they grew up, what their ideas about money is, or that they just don't know how, most people won't take the effort to even learn how to. So this is what we're going to talk about mainly in this video, is mindset and how most people can get ahead financially. So the biggest factor is that most people have a very warped idea of what rich people do. Or their idea is very idolized of the mega rich that live in mansions and drive really expensive cars, which reminds me of a story. I was recently out with a friend. We were just having drinks and we met this couple. And this couple had just moved to Australia from England, and it came up that I invest. So obviously he thought that I was way richer than I actually am. I mean, I do okay financially, but I'm not what you would consider the mega rich. But it also came up that I was actually looking for a new car. So we were talking about new cars, and I don't really know a lot about cars. So the guy from the couple started talking about different cars that I could buy. And he was showing me pictures on his phone of all these like luxury cars. These are the cars that are worth $100,000, $150,000. And I'm looking at him going, okay, these are great cars. And he goes, well, what's your budget? And I said, oh, I was going to look around $30,000. And he's like, what? You could afford a much more expensive car. And I'm like, yeah, but why would I? Why would I take money out of the stock market and buy a car that I really only need to get around? It's not logical. And it reminds me of that quote that says,
rich people stay rich by living like they're broke, and broke people stay broke by living like they're rich. And it's so true.
Because when it comes down to it, the main criteria of getting ahead financially comes down to spending less than you earn, investing as much as you can, and staying out of debt. Most people, it just never occurs to them that it's actually possible, so they don't even try. We're not taught in schools about wealth building. We're not taught how to actually budget. So it's really common, especially when someone first gets into a workforce, that they spend to their paycheck. And even when people get pay rises, they again spend to their paycheck. They're not saving anything. They're definitely not investing anything. Society kind of pushes this as well. We're marketed all of these things that we can buy and spend our money on, but we're not really ever taught how to save, how to invest, how to build wealth. And if you're getting comfortable with a monthly salary and you're doing okay, you don't even think long term that something might happen in the future. You're just living for now. And that's another big thing, that a lot of people who won't get rich, they really just live in the moment. They're not thinking long term. People like this are usually the ones that think you get rich overnight, which is so rare. It's very rare for somebody to actually get wealthy overnight or in a short time frame. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but these are unicorn sort of scenarios. Most people who get wealthy or rich, it happens over a long period of time. They start investing in either the stock market, in property, they start businesses, and then that money accumulates over time, and then that compounding effects makes it easier as they go along. And so time and work and long-term thinking is what gets most people there. But a lot of people are just stuck in this very fast, very now, I want to live for the moment kind of mindset. There's this quote that I really like. It's from Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I hope I've said that right. He said the 3 most harmful addictions are heroin, carbohydrates, and a monthly salary, which means people get so caught up in just having that monthly salary, they don't try and make any extra income, or they don't try and build wealth long term. Another reason that people don't try is they're just scared of failing. This is one of the biggest keys for why people don't invest or won't start businesses. They might have no problem spending $100, $200 on a night out, but they won't put $100 or $200 into the stock market or invest in a course that will help them in their business. which again comes down to living in the moment rather than thinking long term. And a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck also don't prioritize debt. They think nothing of putting a few things on the credit card and just paying the minimum balance. Whereas if they stopped paying these interest rates to the bank and used interest to actually start building themselves wealth, they would be in a much better position. So if working a 9-to-5 job your entire life isn't the way to get rich, let's go over how you can set yourself apart and actually move towards financial independence. But I'm going to get a coffee first. Okay, so first focus on your debt and your spending. Start by cutting out all that impulsive spending shit. Cancel subscriptions, maximize as much of your income as you can to spending into building your wealth. All the while, you need to be killing that debt. Debt is, after all, just reverse compounding interest. You want compounding interest to be working for you, not against you. Next, use your job as your first income source while you plan how you're going to get ahead. I recommend not trying to do everything in the beginning and just focusing on a few key things. So that might be business, it might be investing, whatever makes sense or is easiest for you. Obviously, you need to do a quick budget to work out how much that you can invest. Now, with investing, if you don't want to spend a lot of time researching companies, then just get a simple index ETF. Commit to adding how much you can afford each month into that investment account. And at the same time, start doing some research on some side hustles that would fit both your skill set and things you'd actually just like to do. While you're doing your research on these side hustles, make sure people are actually making money doing this and not just by recruiting people into it. You actually want to be making money from the side hustle. You're just looking to increase your skills and have some side income that you can invest and do other things with. If you don't want to start a side hustle or get into business, that's fine. You can go straight into investing. Now, property is a little bit harder to get into because you need a lot of capital up front, but it's something you might want to do in the future. That's why the stock market is usually easier because you can start with much less money. Now, that's really all it comes down to. Simple in theory, but hard in practice. Cut out all the unnecessary spending. Get rid of that debt, especially credit card debt, and start looking for ways to increase your income so you can invest more and start building that wealth. But yeah, most people are not going to do this. They're going to be happy to stick with their 9-to-5 job and do that for the rest of their life. They're not going to make plans on getting ahead, which is why most people won't get rich. So it's up to you whether you want to play it safe and have a nice, easy life, or you want to go that extra mile and just try and start to set up long-term plans so you can get ahead financially and do what the majority of people won't do. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little different to what I usually do. I just wanted to sit down and have a chat, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. Anyway, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.